Someone has to say 5, 4, 3, pray, because Matt hasn't been here a long time.
All right, God help us all.
Pray.
Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, we'll find a friend to care it. Our place.
Lovely song by me. I'm an actual very talented musician. Did you know that about me, Sam? Okay, good.
That's a beautiful song, Wheezy.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I really enjoy it. I enjoy it myself.
It's actually my ringtone.
Is it your ringtone?
It is my ringtone.
Excellent. So, I am Louise Palenker, your wise and wonderful host, here with a panel of delightful... What do I say about people again?
Lovely and captivating. No, you're
teens.
lovely and captivating.
I'm lovely and captivating. You guys are wise
Delightful
and wonderful.
teen? Yeah. No.
Are we live? Are people watching the show?
I don't have the ability to know that.
Oh, no.
Are there people out there?
You're Wheezy, we're teenagers.
Yeah,
that's what I know.
Yep. We've got Aaron, Jake, Montana, Kimute, Ryan, Nico, Will Mears, and Samantha. And, of course,
Samantha.
Justin. Hey, do you have that ready, Jake, that little fly-in? So Justin's new adventure. Oh, Justin, you don't have a microphone. Look at Justin's name in credits. This is really exciting. Wait, you're wearing headphones. Be careful.
Did you change your
Don't
name
rip
to
your head
Sana
off!
Bawania?
Get on in.
All
Wait,
right,
did you
Justin.
change your name to Sana Bawania?
So have you guys... There's a show called Fighting Foo for Freedom on HBO.
That's exactly the name.
And that's the correct title, right, Justin?
exactly.
Okay, so tell us about the show.
Actually, it's called Foo Fighters Sonic Highways.
That's what I meant to
it's
say.
Called. And basically, it's how Foo Fighters are releasing their new album. And what they did was they went to 8 different cities around the United States, and they recorded a song in each of those cities, and then went over the city's musical history to them. So that's basically what they're doing. They're hour-long episodes, and then at the end of each episode, they release one of their new tracks off the album.
Oh, fun. So I saw the show. It was Chicago, and at the end, when they were singing their song, I had to go, so I fast-forwarded to get to your credits. So sorry, I'm sure you guys really good song, and I'll download it soon. And Justin's title was sound editor, and what does that involve, Justin?
Basically, what I've been doing on this show is I do dialogue editing, and sound design. Oh, hello everybody. So yeah, I do. So dialogue editing is if there's any clicks or pops while people are talking, I take all those out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, any unwanted breaths, those go away. All that exactly, just like that.
Man.
That's gone.
So what if it were a movie about those tribes in Africa that speak with clicks and pops? Would you have to edit out everything?
No, I would.
It'd be a
not
silent
take all of
film.
those out.
The Charlie Chaplin of the modern era.
All right, well, give it up for Justin.
All right.
Have they asked you to join the
everybody.
band?
Look for his name on the credits for Fighting Foo, and the Foos are going to fight for musical freedom in what's the next town?
This week was DC, so next week is Nashville.
DC and then Nashville. All right, and that's where Bill and Ian are, so that's going to be great. All right, so we have a letter from. This was in the rundown from last week, remember, you guys? But it was this is such a weighty conversation that I decided to give it its own week. So here it is with its own week.
Will wants to.
You're going to read this one? Nico, you can't read this in a goofy voice.
For what it's worth, though, this is Jake's. Not that Jake should read it. I'm just throwing it out there. This is Jake's forte.
Jake knows a lot about this, and so does Nico.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but you're a noob.
Go ahead,
Will
Jake.
never gets to read.
Go ahead, Jake.
Wait. Go ahead, me what?
Oh, I thought you wanted to talk.
I like the way Will reads.
We haven't even done the question.
I was
yet.
gonna. Oh, I'm
Oh,
very
that's too
low
low.
in order to be on mic.
One talking
What
at
am
a
I-
time. Just because Howard isn't here doesn't mean that you guys get to mess up the show.
I miss him.
Make Howard proud. Go ahead. All right.
Okay.
So I'll read the question and then because I'm afraid, Nico, I don't trust you. I'm sorry. With
That trust was
this
not
is-
earned. I
because
understand.
we already may be in internet trouble just with this question. And you'll know what I mean.
The cyber police are gonna
Yeah.
get.
Recently, this is from That Girl 67. Recently, a picture of mine got posted on. Should I say it? The name of it?
You got no choice.
4chan. 4chan is a simple.
Ominous.
Place.
4chan is a simple image-based bulletin board where anyone can post comments and share images. This guy from Kik posted my profile picture on there and basically said, rate her. Then he gave out my Kik name. I started to get a lot of messages from middle-aged men. One of them was actually nice enough to tell me that somebody had posted it. I read some of the comments on the site, and some of them weren't so nice. The thing is that the page is no longer on there. I have screenshots of everything that I have seen on there, and I also have a pretty good thought about the person who is behind it. So I guess my question is there anything I can do now that the page is down? Is that illegal? I'm only 15. They can't just post my picture on there and comment on my body, can they? I'm so confused. I want to do something about it. I just don't know if there is anything I can do. Now, this post got a response from Mad Puppy that is pretty thorough, but I first wanted to hear what you guys have to say. Go ahead first, Jake, because he is kind of an expert.
Cool, okay. Nico, I have a question for you.
My
4chan
boy.
is kill?
Oh, 4chan is kill. Moot is
Whoa,
Moot is
whoa.
down. Moot is down.
We don't need to go that deep.
Okay, yeah, we didn't have to get into the whole mods thing, but 4chan was kind of the center of the internet movement kind of thing in the early 2000s. They were like the most influential website of all time, and they're kind of on their way down, unfortunately.
They've been down. If anyone
Yeah.
actually went on the site and not actually just read what they read on there, it's kind of just sad, honestly. Like what they were and what they are now.
So
Yeah,
does
and,
this incident represent kind of how
Honestly,
things
it's
have been devolving?
it's really all they do on that board now.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll post like pictures of girls they know, then rate her, then I don't know, like porn roulette or something. Not that I partake in that, obviously.
No.
Yeah,
but-
I mean, like this has sort of
I'm-
devolved into a very sort of frat house kind of environment,
Okay.
and it's always kind of been like that, but now it's just that, and it's really not worth like it's not worth focusing on.
So your
Yeah.
advice to her is let it go?
Well, okay, so first of all, in this specific instance, because of where it went,
Right?
which is 4chan, which is, I mean, even though it's not where it was today, it is still very, very quick. Nothing's posted there that lasts for longer than like
Mm-hmm.
a couple minutes.
So if you're upset by something, look away and it will be gone?
In this particular instance, in this particular case, in terms of 4chan, the answer is yes. You just completely pretend that never happened.
So when we talk about posting images of underage children and asking people to say things about that person's appearance, that's supposed to be something that, like, if she were to tell her parents and I were her parents, that's supposed to be something that we just let happen, or should something be done?
okay.
Go ahead.
You go first.
Yeah, just real quick.
What's the legality
Wait,
of posting?
Well,
a
hang on.
picture?
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second. But like, my advice is specific in regards to 4chan.
Mhm.
I'm like what I'm saying now. I do not necessarily apply to the rest of the internet, but
Okay.
specifically to 4chan, you ignore it and you walk away.
Okay, because 4chan offers no flagging or no...
I mean, okay. In theory, everything that should be there is there.
Mhm.
In function, it is just
the Wild
the
West.
Wild West.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like the dark webs? Like, does it have sort of
This like the dark like the deep
dark-
internet.
Yeah, yeah.
This they run in the same circle.
Is this like the Scarlet Road where you can buy, like,
Oh, right?
ecstasy?
Okay. Yeah. So
I'm a
arrested.
newbie.
I mean, like
We
it's
can't
all,
exactly
it all,
reinstate party
it all
bans,
hovers
can
around
we?
itself. It all hovers around itself. We don't need to get that deep to it, but basically, this is a part of the internet that is ignorable if you are not someone famous.
I see.
Yeah.
But so in the answer to this question, they bring up that 4chan is possibly responsible for going into the cloud and it'd be funny if you went into a clown and found naked pictures.
Right.
Wouldn't it? Hey,
There's just a
look
clown
inside this
boat.
clown. There's totally naked pictures inside this clown.
Wheezy, how did you get in the clown?
So, so Wheezy, and remember what I said. I said it's ignorable if you're not someone
I
famous.
meant cloud. I meant
Like,
cloud.
Wheezy, I said like it's ignorable if you're not someone famous.
I
4chan did go and find celebrity like picture.
it wasn't
Right,
4chan, it was a user of
A
4chan.
hacker named 4chan is the.
Right, right, exactly.
There were
Like,
some very bad
the news-
reports that said that the name of the hacker was 4chan.
Exactly.
It's just someone on the 4chan, but it wasn't like 4chan got a cult together to do this
I
or a
can't
group
believe
together.
that name wasn't taken.
What, 4chan?
right, but like
It's so funny. It's like on a news report. Who is this 4chan?
right, exactly.
Like learn like this 4chan.
Right. Like and that's actually a good point that we should mention is that you cannot like ever say, "Oh, darn that 4chan," because it's not just like
Of course.
4chan. It is individual users within 4chan, not all of which have the same mindset, not all of which are doing the same thing.
It's a community. It's not a company. Would
Right.
be the bottom line there, right?
Yeah, I always equate 4chan into like Mos Eisley's spaceport from Star Wars. It's like yeah, Aaron got it. It's the hive of scum and villainy, etc. it's not the place that is terrible. It's just kind of a bar in the middle of Tatooine. But
And some people have 3 boobs.
sure. But
Is that not, like normal?
The way
Yes, I'm sure
Wheezy,
they
the,
do,
the
but,
conviction with which you said that and the confidence you had, like that was going to contribute to your conversation. Was,
I'm just saying
The more the better.
anomalies can happen.
No, apparently it happens like more often than we think. Like,
Like that-
not in like Star Wars or whatever,
The fun
just
fact-
in like life.
That girl from
Right.
Total Recall actually does have 3 boobs.
Which
Like
one?
that's not like prosthetic or anything. That's like an actual 3rd boob.
Interesting
What?
person
Well, I
to
know
know.
their nipples are common.
All right, so I'm going to read the
Yeah.
answer that was written by.
wait, can I add something? Can we like?
We'll come back
Later,
to you guys.
later.
I just want to get
Guys
this.
and
I want to
boobs.
get this information out
Right,
there
fair
to
enough.
have it contribute to the conversation. This is from Mad Puppy. 4chan is the worst. That's awful. Their recent highlights include leaking a ton of celebrity news to the public, harassing some gaming journalism women out of their homes with rape threats, and pretending to be women and minorities on Twitter to make it look like women and minorities agree with any of their horrible opinions about women and minorities. Stop cracking your knuckles. You can do it next to Jake because he enjoys that. They are just a gross community as a whole. That's basically nothing you can do because whether or not what he did is illegal, if you try to take action against a huge group of anonymous, misogynistic grown men who live in their parents' basements because they can't function in the rest of society, all you'll do is get them more interested in you. They have nothing better to do all day is the thing, and they sort of whip themselves into a frenzy and whenever anybody gives them any negative attention. God, I hate those guys. Anyway, the fact is they're a huge anonymous group. There's no one to really take legal action against. You might have heard about how recently a huge batch of hacked nudes of female celebrities were leaked by 4chan. And even though these are ridiculously wealthy, powerful, and influential women, there was just nothing they could do practically or legally. You can't stop people from sharing an image on the internet. It's like trying to stop people from gossiping in real life. It doesn't work. They think it's funny when people get upset, so they try to be provocative and as awful as possible. If you don't give them any fun reaction, like being rightfully upset, then there's not much fun for them to grip onto, as it were, and they'll lose interest. You just need to treat them like any unruly toddler because that's basically what they are. Now, my question first is, me reading this post, have I aggravated the bees, the hornet's nest, or is this just something that people talk about on podcasts in general because it's interesting? Ryan?
I don't think you've particularly aggravated the hornet's nest. I mean, if there's a crazy 4chan listener listening, they might be ticked off, but like
I didn't mean you. I meant other people on
right.
4chan.
No. But like like Aaron was saying, it dies pretty quick. So you know
Yeah.
the individual things. It's not like they're gonna get too worked up, and they might get worked up, but they won't do anything about it. I agree with most of what Mad Dog, Mad Puppy, you're mad. What you said.
Yeah, Mad Puppy, I believe.
Mad Puppy. I agree with most of what you said, but I also think that going a little bit back to like the original question, we've been focusing on the wrong parts of it. 4chan is awful, sure, but I think the other issue is what can you do, what should you do. And Mad Puppy addressed a lot of this, and then is it like what's messed up about it. And so the what can you do / what should you do, what can you do? Not really much, like Aaron was saying, on both the practical level of the fact that like it's 4chan, you can't do anything about it, and then the legal level of if this is something that was a nude, non-pornographic picture of you underage, there's nothing illegal about that. If you're like clothed, even if you're revealing, you're still clothed. And so what you have to understand is that there's no like illegal issue with it for that reason, and then also it was an image that you had shared publicly that got shared in a different public location. So I'm not saying it's at all on you, because most normal pictures don't get shared like that, but as far as just seeing like literally everything you do can be shared, and it's like
Right.
Someone could share my Facebook profile picture of me, like I don't even know what it is right now. It's me with a basketball player, that's what it is, and like they could do that.
I
but-
totally rated it. I gave it a 7.
but like in most cases, no one would really want to. So if you know who it is, I'd say see if you can talk to them, or don't talk to.
No, if you're 15, I would just say. What did you want to say, Will Mears?
Oh no, I was just gonna say that could just be feeding the flame. Because
Yeah.
what if that guy's like one of those unruly toddlers?
I guess that's possible.
As a
that's
general
possible.
rule of thumb, then Ryan, what you're saying is like if you're going to have a Kick profile or a Snapchat profile or some of these apps that are just a little bit more, sometimes a little more dangerous than Facebook, really always make sure that your profile picture is appropriate, because just know that like what Ryan just said is true. Anything that's on the internet is on the internet. Jake, were you going to make a point?
Yeah, I was going to say that pretty much everything to them is a game, so
Mhm.
just don't play their game. You can't
Ah.
control what they do. You can control your responses, because they love when people try and fight back. Don't do that. It'll die. Threads die quickly.
Please listen to
Yep.
Jake on this one. Like, ignoring it would probably honestly be the best thing. They're gonna move on to some like weird celebrity thread, and you're not even gonna remember this in like a day.
Yeah, and they have a lot of naked pictures to look at, so they're easily distracted. Go
It's
ahead,
the
Will.
internet.
Go ahead, Will.
Also, yeah, just going on with the whole sending pictures thing. Even on something like Snapchat, where you think it can go away, just know who you're sending it to. Make sure who you're sending it to is someone who you trust, because they may have jailbroken their phone, and they may have a way of saving those.
Will's
without
calling
you
me out
knowing it.
because I have a collection
Wink,
on my
wink,
phone of 25
Ryan.
pictures of him, embarrassing pictures he sends
Never-
me.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
I don't send them to people,
Ryan.
but I just
But-
have them
but-
because I
Well,
love Will.
I
Be
did.
careful.
Having
Be
brought
careful.
that up, Aaron and I were talking last week, and we decided it was time for our place to sort of grow up our policy of not allowing people to share Kick names and Snapchat names, because those apps have become less and less private, one-on-one chat, and more kind of social networks. So we've just kind of changed our rule, and Aaron can talk about the decision that went behind that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that as these individual sort of chat apps have grown and come into like a greater level of popularity, it's become sort of like commonplace where no matter where you are on the internet, they're all going to get shared always, just always. And we figure if we can already allow them to, our users, to post on Facebook or to post on their Instagram, from there they can go to some other place and some other place and some other place. It's just an endless chain. We are sort of like pointlessly limiting what our users can and can't do at that point. And we figure it's probably just best if we continue what we have been doing, which is teaching our users how to be safe on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
and then letting them do what they will do with our help.
Right, and
Yeah.
everything you post anywhere, no matter how much it feels like an app, which isn't the internet, apps really are the internet. They're just the internet that you get on your phone or on your device. And so any picture of you can be screen capped, and as you click on it, you see the various choices, like, oh, I could send this as a message, I could send this to my email, I could send this to Facebook, I could send this to, I don't even know what the other choices are, but like any picture you post anywhere could be in your father or your principal's inbox tomorrow morning. So that's just something for you always to be aware of. And, a lot of kids in this room are applying to colleges, and I know that you've had these lectures about being super careful because, they could Google you and they could see how you present yourself publicly. And it really is a thing. And it extends into job interviews down the line, Ryan?
Yeah, that all makes a lot of sense to me. I thought we were done with kicks, honestly. Like, I remember when it was daily post in the at mods where it was just so and so shared their kick and
Yeah.
so and so section, and then that kind of stopped. So I figured we were done, but apparently it still exists. I just do want to address one more thing that I think is really important in the question, and that was, yeah, here we go. So it was I got a lot of messages from middle-aged men. One of them was actually nice enough to tell me that someone posted it. That's not nice. It was helpful to you, but you still have to imagine this is a middle-aged man who found your kick on 4chan, messaged you, and just happened to tell you that that's where he got it. Like, he wasn't going to be like, it wasn't some person who was like, hey, just a heads up, I am not at all interested in creepily talking to you. I wasn't on that 4chan thread. Someone just told me about it, so I'm going to give you a heads up. I mean, he was on that thing browsing it. So just know that sometimes it's not always what it seems, because he was also just creepily talking to you.
Well, he is a pervert with excellent manners.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, like, at the very least, this is good internet advice. Do not trust someone who came from 4chan.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Nico?
Can I just say a little something?
Well, I think you're going to.
Well, yeah, I'm going to. Don't write off an entire site like that. I mean, like, when people talk about how 4chan is just, like, misogynistic.
I'm not
crap,
writing it off. I've never
I
been
know,
to
I'm
it.
not-
Janice.
I'm
I've
not
never
ta-
been there. I am a student. I want to learn more of you, 4chan. Please.
I'm not talking about you,
instruct me.
Weezy. I'm talking
Yes.
about someone like Mad Puppy who has
So
this
tell
idea
us,
of it.
tell us what good stuff. What's the good stuff on 4chan, and what are reasons why you've been there, and what have you found that's actually kind of been helpful and fun and entertaining in your life?
The reason I went there is because you aren't embarrassed to say what's on your mind. Like, I talked about this the first day I
Ah.
came here. Like,
Yeah, you've
You
been
were
talking
sup-
about it for a while.
you were
yeah.
supposed to be about the quality of your argument, never about what you said. Like, most boards don't even have it so you know who's talking in the thread. Like, you could say at one point, hey, that's dumb. This is why. And then you could argue with yourself. But everyone would just look at your argument and see that. That's
So
why I really
if
liked
people
it.
went to 4chan and they saw posts of underage girls being raided, would someone like you go, "Hey guys, come on"? I mean, would that be acceptable?
I have to stay away from all that. Like, I
Uh-huh.
don't go on that board. Honestly, that's the entrance board so
Oh,
that
okay.
people like Mad Puppy don't go on the rest of the site and contaminate
So you've
it.
got destinations that are more worthy. You're saying?
Well, yeah, but it's like, don't just write off the entire site. Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't write off Tumblr just because a few of
No,
the
of
girls
course
on
not.
there say, like, kill all men because of Ferguson or something.
No, of course not. Jake and then Aaron.
Okay. Yeah. I actually have written I was gonna write one of my college app essays about the internet and then ended up not doing it. But 4chan, I used the Mos Eisley reference before, is a terrible place, but it helped Luke get off his boring planet and do stuff with his life. So in the past they have cyberbullied people like crazy and assaulted people and all these terrible things. There was this case where there was this cat that someone posted this pictures or videos of them abusing their cat. Within 2 days, that man was arrested.
Wow.
Because 4chan is so amazingly qualified at finding out who someone is, which is a terrifying ability, that they can use it for both horrible things and good things. So they took clues around his room. They used the time of day was posted and what color the light was to figure out what location he was on.
Wow.
They did everything, and he was arrested within days. People, they're good at animal abuse, solving that. There's a cat that got abused.
There really are.
They're good.
Wait, what do you think I was going to What did you think I was going to say? I was going to say that I thought it was a little comedic, that they bully people but don't let
Yep,
people
that's-
bully animals.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought you were gonna
yeah,
say.
yeah.
I just thought that was a little comedic, but
The
No, but
there's-
duality is beautiful, kind of.
Well,
and
they
also
probably,
terrifying.
in defense of them, they probably feel like people are stronger and have a better ability to defend themselves or to ignore it than a poor
no,
cat.
I know, I'm not. But wait, no, I do disagree with you. I'm not going to stand up for people bullying. Anyways,
No, I'm not standing up for people bullying. I'm just saying they may think it's amusing to
yeah, no, I understand.
to make a fake Twitter account and pretend that they think those guys are awesome. They may think that that's just kind of intriguing, but a poor animal, that's where they would draw the line. Go ahead, Aaron.
So I think to sum up 4chan real quick is that it's sort of like this big, important, empty shell that's been filled with the scum of the earth, but that scum of the earth occasionally has a bubble of with a silver lining float up to the top, and then they help the FBI catch a pedophile, or they help the police find an animal abuser, or they take down the internet for a terrible regime somewhere in
And
the
I'm
country.
not even going to refer to them as the scum of the earth because I really just think that they are involved in groupthink, and groupthink can buoy and support negative behaviors.
Yes, and that's true, but it can also be avoided by someone if they don't go to 4chan. And
Right, and some of them are excellent people that are just adolescents who are kind of just figuring out who they are. Go ahead, Aaron.
Saying that, don't just go onto
mean-
other sites.
I mean, Jake.
I'm sorry.
Also, there are different sections of 4chan,
Sure,
and there's
yeah.
somewhere it's let's just talk about anime. And I like anime. I like anime too.
Don't
And it's
make anime
perfectly
porn,
normal.
though.
I like
The whole
anime.
point of the site is that it's 100% anonymous in most places. And you just say whatever you want to say, and there's people who talk about terrible things. There's people who talk about anime. There's people who talk about card games and stuff. Whatever you want to find in the site is, it's limited, but still, there's a lot of places to be, and so it's all about kind of this anonymous place where you're just whoever you want to be there, but also that leads to bad things down the line too.
It can, just like life. Kyo.
I wanted to talk a little bit about caring when you don't need to care
Mhm.
about something.
Okay.
And how it's it might be hard, but it's the best thing to do. I have a analogy in my head of something that happened to me last week or something. I was driving, and I drove faster than the guy that was in my lane off of the green light, and then I moved in front of him because the lane closed. And then the next light we drove, and he drove around me and then in front of me.
That's because he had suddenly
Jealous.
finished his text.
Yeah, but just to spite me, and
Right.
it made me feel like I could ram you right
Right.
now. But I was like, okay, I'm just gonna laugh at this guy because he cares about stuff and that's how I feel 4chan people are thinking of you if you come to them and are angry and get upset. they're like, I'm just gonna laugh at you.
I gotta take a page from your book, Keo. I'm really on the road.
I like that. I like that. All right, we're going to wrap up this topic and get to Kenzie's question. I've been talking to an older guy who goes to my school. We've been talking for 2 weeks over text, but haven't met in person yet. I sent him persuasive photos, but no nudes. He hasn't texted me in a while. We were supposed to get together tonight. I Snapchatted him, and he opened it, but didn't respond. I texted him last night, and he didn't respond. And finally, I texted him asking him if I did something wrong. Do you have any advice for what I should do? All right, so I wanted to start by saying if she meant to use the word suggestive,
Yeah, that's what we thought.
I just don't think that that's ever a way to get the kind of attention that you're going to want. I'm going to let Montana talk first.
First of all, how did she start talking to an older guy who goes to her school but doesn't know him in person? Like, how did this happen? They've never met.
Maybe they just got
4chan.
the number from.
Oh God, never meet people on 4chan.
Yeah,
well,
4chan
I
meetup,
think it's
that always
really
goes well.
easy for kids to friend people on social networks and just see if they
And
can
then-
get to know them that way.
I've always felt really awkward. Like if I talk to somebody like I don't know that I'm friends with on Facebook, like that's just not a thing. Unless you were like friends before in like high school and now you're
No, I think he
elderly.
may be like at least 2 years older, and she's trying to get
You have.
his.
She has no business doing like trying to hook up with older guys like that. She doesn't know who she is. But like, yeah, you could go to prom.
You can do that without persuasive text messages.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Sam?
And the other.
I
oh,
need
sorry.
the girls' opinions first. Sam.
Uterus rules. Okay.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah. So you're a freshman. You should not be stirring up this drama very early in the year or
Okay.
at all.
I have a thing to say about
Okay, go
freshmen, but no, after
No,
you
you
go.
Freshmen
really?
suck. Is
Okay.
this going to end like one of your classic Hitler comments?
No,
Because
this
it
will
seems
not
like
end
that's
like
where it's
classic.
going.
Classic Hitler comment. You weren't there for the.
There's a Jew. There's many Jews in this room. Let's keep that in
Yeah,
mind.
I know. But like, okay, being a senior now, like I look back on the freshmen, and like I was in art a few days ago, and one of them was like talking to this girl and asking her like what music she had on her phone, and she was like, "Can you put on High School Musical 3?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, you're a fetus!" Like. How are you walking? You're just a baby. And it was like, it was so cute because it's like.
Are you sure they weren't
the,
like
the
kidding?
freshmen now,
The
they were
shiny-
born
no,
in
she wasn't.
2000.
Yeah,
No, not about the fetus part, but about the fact that, like, are you sure it wasn't like
No,
the same way that Khalil and I listen to songs from Disney movies, but
No,
we
no,
don't
no.
actually
Like
still
that's what I
enjoy it?
thought. But then she kept being like, "Well, do you have like Camp Rock or like Camp Rock 2?" And
Well,
I'm like,
that-
"They made a second one."
Well, that would be like if I was like, "Do you have any songs from Mulan?" No. What about Lion King?
Well,
Like,
No, but like she didn't.
All
seem
right, we're not
sarcastic.
talking about their
Um,
taste
but
in
yeah.
music.
And just the fact that
you
she
know,
knew,
I have the
like,
entire
Camp Rock 2.
DuckTales soundtrack. I don't know what that is.
This
but-
what happens when
Um,
you let uteruses
sorry.
rule.
No.
Anyway, I had a
No,
point with
so
that.
we're talking about young girls trying to get the attention of
Yeah.
boys using persuasive photos.
So,
Like,
Oh,
'cause
sorry.
she starts off on the wrong track and she never corrects herself.
Just like us.
yeah.
Like she's missing the point. So
Yeah.
let's teach her.
I'm sorry. And anyway, my point with that convoluted story was, although you come into high school and you think you're like, you know your way around, like, no offense, but like upperclassmen looking at you, we kind of like see ourselves at kind of a different stage in our lives.
We think you're cute.
We think you're adorable.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. But like, she wants to like get with this guy, and like,
It's not the way to go about it.
it's not the way to go about it, because for him, I think he feels like more detached, and that's why he's not giving you the proper respect of
Also,
like talking to you back or talking to you in person
And
at least.
there's
That's
a few
ridiculous.
things going on. Like, he doesn't really know you, and then you sent him something suggestive, and he's afraid if he's 18 or 17
Oh,
that
yeah,
someone's
that's
going
a
to
big
find
thing.
that on his phone. So he probably just deleted it and thought, I better not talk to this girl. She's going to get me in trouble.
Yeah.
I wasn't like thinking that, because most of the guys that I know, like if they had it's not like if it's not a photo that's naked, they wouldn't be like. I'm
But
not
it's
talking about.
persuasive.
No, no, no.
It's
He was,
not
he was
true.
just laughing. I wasn't saying you were talking
show
about
off
Jake. He was just
anything
laughing.
to seem like
the
a
guys,
man around other people.
Oh yeah, just stereotype us. Just generalize us.
from my
All
own
right,
personal
okay,
experience.
all right. I'm talking to a senior boy. You
Sounds good.
received that suggestive post. What do? You don't really know the girl.
Well, I mean, generally, I wouldn't really talk that much to a girl I have never met.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that goes to my school. Like, my school's small, but still, I'd be like, hey, let's meet by the flagpole during lunch. Like, it's not that hard to do.
How romantic.
Go to the flagpole, bring your lunch money.
Meet flagpole, 3 o'clock.
Exact same thing was said in my math class. Literally, the kid was joking around with the teacher. He said, "You, me, flagpole, 3 o'clock." And you're like, "Wait, do we even have a flagpole?"
We do.
We don't.
We
do?
do.
Do we even
It's
know
out by
where?
the front entrance, by the entrance to the parking lot. Anyways,
I have
nonetheless.
never
But
seen
how would you handle
Nonetheless,
this girl?
I mean,
Would
look,
you just ignore her?
it
'Cause
depends
that's-
because I don't think it's very rare. I think that you're like, hey, and where the other girl's like, hey, and you're like, hey, and they're like, what's up? And I'm like, not much, you, and then they send me a suggestive photo. Like, generally it goes somewhere. Like the guy flirts and the girl flirts and the guy flirts, and like if they're flirting, then if I was flirting with someone, which I wouldn't do if I'd never met them, I'd probably like not have an issue with having the pictures.
Even
but
if she were 14 and you're
but I'm not
17.
18 yet. I'm 17, and like it is one of those things where like
Let's make that
I
clear.
wouldn't. It really won't affect me because well, hopefully I won't be in that position. But like at the same time, it is one of those things where you're like, well, I'm 18 now. Like when as I'm starting to get closer to my birthday, it's like, whoa, things are gonna like change for me legally, and it's not just this stuff; it's everything. So I mean, yeah, it's probably something that's going through his mind. But I don't know. I mean, just go up to him at school and be like, did I do something wrong? If you thought you had like a kind of an online friendship at the least, I don't know.
Keo?
I wouldn't say did I do something wrong.
Well, no, but if that's what you're thinking, like
yeah,
then think
but
that.
I mean, I would just try and talk to him so you can kind of get a better idea of how he's feeling and what he's thinking. Because right now, all you have is text on a screen, and it's not something
That's
you
not
can
any
go off.
good indicator. Will Mears?
So originally, I was gonna say you have two options, but they kind of went over the one option. So
Mhm.
otherwise, I feel like you've extinguished everything. So the only thing you really can do, other than that, is nothing. You've already done enough. He hasn't responded to that or to the text, then the Snapchat, then the other text about doing something wrong. So you kind of gotta leave it at that. I really
Let it
think
go.
You if someone
Yeah.
Cut
doesn't
your
respond
losses.
that many times, even though maybe they will respond if you don't respond.
Right.
But
well,
the point
don't
is,
it
hope
could
for
be
the
that
point-
it's just in
that's
terms
less.
of
That's a different. I mean, the point is, just you've already
the
gone
age
through it
gap
all,
may
yeah.
make it just like he's not really
Yeah.
interested in the girl. She's too young and he doesn't know how to say that to her. But we're going to jump to the next question. This is from The Little Mermaid. Wheezy. I'm 18 and I have started my first job a couple months ago. I'm a cashier at CVS. And she's excited about it. But since it's my
Get me
very
those
first
extra
job
bucks.
ever, I'm a little clueless. Whenever something goes wrong that I'm not sure of, I have to ask questions. One of my colleagues told me how the older ladies who work there can't stand me very well because I just stand around. But they never tell me to do anything, and it hurts my feelings and it makes me feel bad that they don't like me as a coworker. I don't know what to do or say or how to act. I need advice. I can't stop thinking about it. Help, thanks. Sincerely, Brittany. Anyone have jobs or... Oh, all the hands are going up. Where should we start, Aaron?
Ryan.
Yeah, actually, Ryan.
Ryan.
Sounds good. Hey, you guys didn't speak fast enough. No, a couple things. First, I would just say I'm in the same boat, not of having a job and like being yelled at by old ladies, or not being yelled at, but being gossiped about, I guess. But I'm one of those people who really asks way too many questions about something. Like I'll be doing a pointless project in advisory, and like even today, my teacher was like, "Oh, write down something." It's hard to figure out what you do want to be in life, so let's write stuff we don't want to be, and that'll help lead us to who we do want to be. And I was like, can it be career-based? Does it have to be now? And just like, she gave a broad, open-ended thing, and I'm like, no, I need you to be specific. So there's a lot of people like that, and I think that there's nothing wrong with that and asking questions. It sometimes can feel awkward, but ask all the questions you need. And old people just dislike young people, so like, don't take it personally. Like, they're old. They're just going to sit there and be like, would you look at the kids these days? And like,
Well,
so...
let me just also say that they are looking at the world from their own perspective, which is that when you're in the workplace, you behave thusly. But what they don't get is that an 18-year-old doesn't really know that you behave thusly. And the two qualities that you need in the workplace are drive and pluck. And those two qualities require courage. And so if you're not the kind of person that's going to go up and down the aisles asking people if you can help them find something, because that would involve talking to a person, then you may appear to be lazy to them. Because you haven't been told that one of the things that you want to do in the workplace is whatever isn't getting done. And if you don't see what isn't getting done, go find it. And that requires courage. And if she's basically shy, she's not necessarily lazy. She just doesn't know she's allowed to do that. The phone call's going to have to wait till we get a couple of comments in. Will Mears?
Just a quick thing going off of what you just said. I also think not only will that courage help with, like showing your colleagues or workmates that you're actually doing something, but it'll also get you that experience. And
Yeah.
when you're doing that, you'll get better at that, and then you'll show them, look, I'm actually helping people. I'm actually working, and and then eventually you'll kind of get that
In your
seniority.
face.
You won't be the little freshman worker, So yeah, they'll kind of start to. But yeah, the old people, the seniors will always hate the young, the new colleagues, whatever. That's a basic thing.
Not always. If you
Um,
smile at them, if you say, "How
yeah.
was your day, Madge?"
But there's
you
gonna be
look
that
pretty.
one.
Your new blue hairdo is adorable.
So lie
There's
to
gonna be that
them?
one person though who
I've
Oh,
rarely
Sam.
seen an old woman and been like, "You are pretty."
you
Like
are
I
so
just say.
cute. Those
And has blue hair.
I love the sparkles on the sides of your glasses. Sam.
Well, I do have a job. I work with children.
Uh-huh.
That's fun.
Okay.
But it says here that you are a cashier, I believe.
Yeah.
So basically, cashier kind of does stand around for quite a while.
No, but
You
when
say-
it's not your
When-
when
when-
it's
when-
not your shift,
it's not
I'm
your
saying
shift-
find something that needs to get done.
Yeah,
and
it's
do it.
true. It's true.
Or
And
ask people, is there anything I can help you with?
Yeah,
Be-
and you talk to a manager if you don't know. I mean, old people
always be
opinionated.
moving.
Always
Always
be moving.
be
Always. I mean, I
moving.
take initiative at my work all the time. If
Yes.
something needs to be done, I do it.
Kyo.
I have 2 jobs right now, and th-
Really?
Show
I
it
work
off.
with children.
Oh,
I
you
help
got
the
told.
next generation.
You
one of them,
told.
one of
I
them
am
is working.
molding the
So
next
am I
generation.
with one of my jobs, but that's all right.
I teach them about the Bible.
And everybody likes me at both of my jobs, and I think it's because what I do when I'm at work is, if I'm not working, I ask, what can I do? And then maybe there's nothing to do. People tell me that, but they're not thinking he's not doing anything. They're thinking he would be doing something if there's work to do.
Yep.
And then 2, whenever I make a mistake, I take full responsibility and apologize.
Excellent. Those are really good things. Let's go to the phone call. Hello. Thank you for calling our place out loud. Who's this?
Hello.
Hello. Is this Mrs. Culfer?
Mhm.
All right. Do not tell Nico where you live.
Wait, did you add me on Facebook?
This is very important. Did
And
you add
me?
Ryan on
Possibly.
Facebook?
Me too.
Uh-oh.
Because I
Uh-oh.
got a request from
Oh,
a Jordan,
oh,
but I wasn't sure if
now.
it was
She
you.
had everyone.
Who's
'cause I
stalking
told
who?
her.
Yeah, I got
Who's
a request too.
stalking who?
That
told
was
her.
me.
Okay,
All right.
it was you.
So
Well,
I
listen, we
accept?
need it. We
Yeah,
have
I
we have
accept
to do an intervention, you guys, because Mrs. Culfer has something that she needs help with. Go ahead. You had a difficult week.
It's fine.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Yeah. Did you want to
Mhm.
ask a question or tell everybody what happened, or how do you want to handle it?
Mhm.
Would you rather just talk about the question in the app?
I don't think she wants to talk about it.
You want to talk about it? All right. So, do you have a job? Do you have a job?
Really quick, Jordan, I wrote you a little something on the Ask the Panel thing if you didn't see it.
Oh, I didn't.
It's for
I'll
you.
look at it later, though.
Do you have a job, Mrs. Culfer? Did you want to talk about how you behave in the workplace?
I do have a job.
Okay. And
Cotillion. If any of y'all know what that is, it's basically teaching kids to ballroom dance.
ah,
Oh yeah, that.
wow.
That's a.
How do you teach kids to ballroom dance? That
It's
sounds
easy.
That's
really
cool
hard.
that you know how to
I won
ballroom
first
dance.
place in the samba in 5th grade.
I know a girl who got kicked out of Cotillion for throwing her shoe at a guy.
Wow.
That could get you kicked out.
She's
Yeah.
actually a fairly classy person.
Cotillion
though,
is not a contact sport. Well, it is
Well,
because you have to
dancing.
dance. You have to dance.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you do when when there doesn't feel like there's anything to do, but you know that you don't want to look lazy or like you're just standing around?
Well, the thing we have to do is to kind of make us look busy, even though we're not,
Mm-hmm.
is walk around and watch to see if anyone's having issues
Mm-hmm.
with their moves. And normally, if they are, they ask me, and I just tell them I don't know how to do the dance anyway. So, good luck.
Okay. So you're super helpful. But you
Yeah,
just, you make
really.
sure they're not stepping on each other. Make sure there's
That's
no
about all
hair
I can
pulling.
do.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's about all I can do.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. If the kids all leave alive, you've done your job.
hmm
As many kids as came, leave, you've done your job.
And then
No
I
one's trapped in the
stand
building.
Yeah.
closed, too.
You've
Even
done
if they're
your
just
job.
remotely healthy, I mean, to keep a bunch of kids intact for an extended period of time, and I mean extended like more than 4 seconds, is an impressive feat.
Yep, kids intact are a good thing. Keo?
One more thing I wanted to say about doing
Jobs?
things at
Yeah.
jobs is whenever someone asks you to do something, try and sound happy to do it. Be like, oh yeah, I'll go do that. I think
For
that's
sure.
like a good thing.
Also, what this is for you too, Jordan. The question is never answered with "I don't know." The question is let me find out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know how to do
Yeah.
that specific move, you don't say to the kid, "I don't know how to do it. Just don't step on
Oh,
her
yeah.
feet." You say, "Let me find out."
That's the first thing they teach you when you do cater waitering. Like, if you don't know if there's like an ingredient in there, you don't know. You don't just say I don't know. Like, if you say I'm
And-
allergic to like lemon, and for some
Yeah,
reason.
Also,
and
you
a
don't
lot
say
of-
things like "It's not my job." Everything's your
God.
job.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate that.
And a-
Everything is your job. Just get it done.
Yeah.
And you don't say it's not my fault, like what Keo just said. You just say, let me find out what happened, and I'll fix that. I'll fix that. Let me take care of that. Let me handle that. You be that person with that outlook that just says, I'm going to make everything okay, because that's the person that other people want around.
And
Nico?
happy about it.
Yeah, one of your most valuable
And be happy
tools in
about it.
any job is when someone asks you something you don't know, you got to say, let me look into it. Like, that's all you need to say. No one's going to fault you for, like, looking into something you don't know about, and at the same time, they know you're going to try to handle it.
Yeah, and you could say, Jordan, you could say, let me check this week's episode of Dancing with the Stars, and I'll get back to you about whether or not you're supposed to put your hand there or there.
I'll use that.
Let me ask Derek Huff. I've got him on speed dial. Go ahead, Will Mears.
Just want to give a little philosophical thing.
Oh yeah, okay.
yeah.
Let's take it down a notch.
All right. No. All right. So don't ever think of something as you don't know. Rather, think of something as you are able to gain more knowledge in the future. Another thing is also
Put it on a pillow.
never think of something as a problem. Rather, think of something as having a potential solution.
An opportunity for learning. Big snap,
Will,
circle,
Will,
snap,
will you marry
circle.
me?
Montana.
Basically, just like it might just seem really simple, but like act like you're happy to be there, because most of the time they don't really care, like, if there's somebody who's slightly better than you at like stacking boxes, if that person is just like being miserable all the time
Right.
about it. If you're just nice, you smile, you say hi and good morning, bring somebody coffee, or
Yeah.
you don't have to, but like that's always nice if you're like a scrub and you bring somebody coffee.
You're a scrub.
Yeah, it's very nice.
And just be a pleasant person, and that also just goes for life, because
For
you'll
life.
never know who like becomes your boss in the future. So never like for example, like I do music, and if there's somebody in like a band that I hate, I don't be like I hate you and start a thing with them, because it happens very often that like I'll see them in like at another gig or like a band or something, and I'm like, I gotta play with you again, so let's make this less uncomfortable than it needs to be.
Yes, everyone in the world is someone from whom you may need to borrow a guitar string.
That's true. That's true.
All right, thank you for calling, Mrs. Colfer. We will talk to you next week. I'm going to go on to the next question from Never Perfect Enough. There was a shooting at my school. 6 people were injured, 2 girls and 1 boy are dead. People think the shooter shot the people because he recently broke up with his girlfriend and was very angry about it, as shown by his Twitter comments. He was very popular and social and well known. I knew him. He was a freshman. He recently won Homecoming Prince. He was a great kid, so everybody is shocked that such a well-liked person across the city would shoot people. Right now I am thankful my brother is alive, and I am thankful that I am alive. We both were nearby when this event occurred. So this shooting was on international news recently, and this Never Perfect Enough, she lived very, very, very close and was intimately interwoven into this fabric of this community. And I can say something, but first I'm going to see what you guys have to say, Montana.
When I read this, thanks. So right as I was supposed to say something serious, I just fell apart.
Mm-hmm. Well,
That
like
happened.
everyone else did.
So basically when I saw this, I couldn't believe it, because I had heard about it like on the news. I'd seen it and I was like, "Oh my god, this is like really heavy." And then to see somebody so closely connected to us, like through our place, like how they were in the school, they knew the kid. That's
Yeah.
crazy how like you think it's just something that's a million miles away. Actually, did it happen in Oregon? I thought it happened in Oregon.
I don't want to reveal
Oh,
too much
sorry,
about
never
where
mind.
she lives, but
Never mind, sorry.
I think I think anybody who was watching the news, probably even some kids here may know
Mhm.
or be able to confirm that.
Never mind, sorry.
But I believe it was the Pacific Northwest. But
Okay. Well, you just think that it's like so far, it's like, oh, that could never happen. But then you hear about something like this from one of the kids on our place who's a regular on our place. So it's
Mhm.
not like a first time thing. And this happens, you're like, oh my God,
it brings
any
it
of
all
this could
home.
happen.
Yep.
And it makes it just that much more heavy. And so for that, like, my condolences. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to, like, entirely comfort somebody who's gone and through and had to, like, witness this, because that's never happened to me. And I hope in the future we could bring this number of, like, shootings, like, down, because it's become kind of ridiculous.
Ryan?
Yeah, I think it's important that you finished off with kind of what's most important. That's you're thankful for what you have right now, because I don't know, since I was growing up, my parents kind of have emphasized that when there's a situation you can't really change, just be thankful for what you do have control of, and maybe not things you have control of, but what you do have. So it's definitely heavy, and like Montana said, it's not that easy, for us to sympathize with, because I don't think any of us on the panel have been through something like that.
Well, Aaron has. So I'm going to go to Aaron real quick. I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Yeah, no, go ahead. If more insight.
this happened at up at UCSB, and Aaron had to go walking around campus the next day. And maybe you can talk about how people felt, or when did people feel safe, and did some people never feel safe again in Isla Vista, or what did the kids sit and talk about, and when it was time to go out, were people frightened? And first, you may want to say what happened at college, and then how you as a community decided to help each other cope with it.
Well, basically, what happened was this guy who did not go to UCSB but went to a college
He went
nearby.
to City College nearby, and he was
Exactly.
living at UCSB.
Yes. I won't go into the details of what he did, because that's just glorification, but he ended up killing a lot of people over actually a very similar thing, over girls not going for him. And he ended up dying in the process as well. And it felt like it came out of nowhere, but in actuality, there were signs for ages. Like, he posted on the internet, we just didn't take it seriously enough, I guess. And there's a lot in the background that I don't need to get into, but it shocked the community. It was just a complete... UCSB has a reputation as an upbeat sort of kind of party school, and for the next more than a week, it was just a ghost town. People weren't leaving the house.
No one wanted to go out.
It was just like hushed murmurs everywhere, and the sound of music, which is always in the air in UCSB. If someone's playing something out of every window, nothing. Everything was just dead. And, it was just, it's a very somber
Were you personally afraid
environment. I don't know if the word is luckily, but I wasn't actually there on the day. I was actually back home just visiting family, but then the very next day I was there. And I know that I was following it on the news. I was calling friends, and some of them were very badly shaken up, and thankfully no one that I know was involved too much, but some people still got very upset. It's a really it's incomprehensible, kind of. But
what can we say to kids who go to school every day, or people who hear about these shootings and walk around, and there are some people that are more prone to being frightened than others, and what can you say to allow people to go about their lives with peace of mind?
right,
That they're 99.9999% safe and never going to
Right.
be shot.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Aaron.
well, one of the very first things that happened, like basically the hour of the incident, is that people just, hey, can I come over to your place?
Mm-hmm. Everyone wanted to be together.
Everyone was together and stayed together. No one left. They just sort of, it became a very tight community very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of clinging to whatever made you feel safe
And human and
right,
alive.
and that's fine, right? Like if that means you're gonna like you and a bunch of friends are gonna spend the night together, like at a friend's house or whatever, and watch movies all night and talk about whatever you want, do that.
Mhm.
Like, just cling to each other, cling to the good stuff, and 'cause there's not on an individual level. There's not much to learn here besides what grief feels like, and you just it's a time for the community to come together and support each other.
And to show each other all the good, because whenever there's a horrible incident, what rises out of it, like in Boston at the marathon, what rose out of it was all the good of Boston, all the strength of Boston. Will Mears.
On a slightly different note, like to prepare for like shock like this, you have to realize, I think with a lot of cases, you have no idea. Like someone may look happy, someone may look like they're on top of the world, but you have no idea what they're going through inside, what personal demons they're fighting. And so I just really think that you can't look at someone's life and on the outside and think, wow, they must be so happy. You have to, you have to have more of an open mind. And I just think, I don't know, maybe like if there were more counseling. I mean, I don't know, that's hard to do. I just think in general that just because someone looks happy, that should never be an indicator. Because I mean, I'm sure like throughout high school, people may think I'm like the silliest like jokester, like silly guy, like happy-go-lucky. But I'm in my own mind, I've never thought of myself as happy-go-lucky. I've dealt with personal struggles, depression, all that, and I've never thought, I'm a happy person. So it's really kind of on the outside looking in type of thing.
Yeah. Jake?
Yeah, quite a lot of violent crime, specifically public acts of violent crime, are influenced by various mental disorders, depression, anxiety, and other stuff like that. And the scariest part about mental disorders is they just affect anyone. They can affect anyone. And as Aaron said, sometimes there are very blatant signs that we have to pay attention to, and sometimes there's none at all. And I think that it's part of our culture to kind of shun people with these mental disorders, and that can only make it worse. I think that in the next 20 years is something we really have to deal with, is mental health being a thing that affects everyone. Everyone should occasionally go to a therapist, talk through their feelings with a friend, whatever it is that makes you feel better, because mental health isn't just a thing like you don't go to a therapist just because you're a crazy person. Everyone can benefit from it, and I think this is going to be a really important thing for the years to come.
Wouldn't it be great if, in addition to going for your annual physical, you also went for your annual psychological just tune-up, and it weren't a stigma. It was just something that everyone, how's your year? Here's what, do you want to talk about anything? And then if the therapist could say, what, I think you should come back next week, or I'll see you next year. It could just be a regular evaluation. Kyo?
That might be a good idea, but it also might cause stress on people to be like, I'm being checked on, and then it might...
Your body gets checked on every year.
Yeah, but it's a different... Because your body being checked on doesn't affect your body working, but the idea that you're being checked on might affect your mental state.
Ah, Kyo. You are such a sage.
But what I was gonna say is I'm, like everyone else, very sorry that this has happened at any place in any time, and I think you should know that you weren't wrong in feeling as safe as you felt. That's not a wrong thing to feel. You were accurate in how safe you felt, and I think you should just try and take from this as much as you can and be as kind. Like Will was saying, you don't know how people are thinking, so just be as kind as you can be. Just be as kind, and don't blame yourself if you were mean to some person, because no one's their best person every day.
That's very good. Ryan?
Yeah, and I agree with really all of what's been said, and I think a lot of times, kind of how Jake was talking about how we shun mental illnesses and struggles. People sometimes feel bad about feeling sad or scared. Those are all normal emotions, and everyone has them, particularly when something so intense happens. Like death is probably the scariest thing to every single person on this planet. It's the unknown. It's the end of something. It's probably the scariest thing, and the thought of someone being able to bring that faster than it's already coming is insane. And to be scared of that, to be sad, to be not know what your feelings are is perfectly normal, and just feel through them. And I've said it before on the show, I think everyone should see a therapist. Like, I see a therapist on a weekly basis, and probably 3 out of 4 weeks we talk UCLA football. And then 1 out of 4 weeks, we talk something really deep. And if I didn't have someone to talk to about that, I don't know what I would do with it, you know. But
It's also a good thing that you have someone to talk to about UCLA football because I don't care about it. No, I'm just teasing you.
Neither does anyone who reads my school paper. Our sports section is just the unread Ryan's opinion
Oh,
on
no,
UCLA
you're
football.
an excellent writer. You're an
No, I know,
care
but no
about
one reads it.
sports.
Like people will people will like bring our newspaper home and put in their parakeet's cage.
I'll read it. Send
All
me
right,
a link.
you know what we're gonna do, Ryan? Excellent scribe that you are.
Oh.
We're gonna end on this last question because I found it so intriguing. I'm scared that when I go to sleep, I go to heaven, although I'm not dead.
Dude, that's chill. Like
Right?
heaven's
Awesome.
supposed to be paradise. If you go to sleep, go
Well,
to paradise, and then come
Never.
back in
So
the morning, that's
I'm
like,
not sure what the actual fear is. Is she afraid that we die when we go to sleep? But where do you guys think we go when we dream?
I have always loved dreaming, sleeping, everything. It's my favorite thing. More than UCLA football.
I thought being alive,
You don't
being
talk about
awake, and
dreaming
talking was your favorite thing.
No, because here's the thing.
Dreaming
Do you
is
talk in your
awesome.
sleep?
In my dreams, I can talk as much as I want, and nobody will yell at me.
No, that's not true.
You'd be surprised how many people yell at me.
Yell at him.
But no, like, so I'll like stay up the entire night before a vacation when I'm on a long plane ride. Not because like I want to be able to like sleep on the plane because I can't if I'm not, but I want to assure that I fall asleep because sleeping is just magic. Like you can go anywhere, you can do anything. If I'm on a plane, in my head, I could be in the Gobi Desert, like exploring and like doing whatever I want. So I love sleeping. Like if I don't know, like
wouldn't wanna
on
go to
any
the
plane
desert.
ride, it's like I'm confined to this small little seat physically, but in my head, I'm on the moon. Like
So I couldn't really figure out what her fear was, and when I used to be afraid of something, I would tell my dad. He would say, "You've got a bug in your ear," meaning you're afraid of something that's not a real thing, and it's going around and around your head, and it's not.
bugs are real things.
I know, but he meant it as a figure of speech, and so. Why is she afraid of heaven, and why does she think that she's going to heaven when she's asleep? And what is the actual fear? And also, where do you think we go when we sleep? And isn't heaven just a concept? Will.
All right, I'll talk a little about that, and then I have another like little note about sleep. Okay, so I think it's as Ryan was saying, it's really just fear of the unknown, fear
Right.
of death. Not that's on her mind a lot, like or maybe like a recent tragedy has affected her. But I mean, yeah, usually a lot of times dreams do reflect like what you've been thinking about or what's been happening to you the last few days, weeks, whatever. But one way I like to think about dreaming is whereas like when you're awake, your conscious controls your subconscious. It's gonna sound kind of trippy. When you're dreaming, the subconscious is in control, and the
Cool.
conscious is the victim. Is basically at complete will of
Or
the
passive.
subconscious. Yes, it's the pet of the subconscious. So yeah,
It's
beautiful.
submissive
yeah.
to
exactly.
the subconscious. So what I think, and I tell kids this a lot in the app, is that dreams are full of imagery, which is representative of both our hopes and our fears. And so any dream can really be analyzed if you sit and go, "Oh, I was on the moon with a rabbit and my third grade teacher, and they were singing the score from the third High School Musical." And then my crush was there. All right, wait a second. I mean, you can probably boil it down to its essence of what you were hoping or fearing. Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, I think a good rule of thumb is, and this is sort of like a play on an old psychology thing, but sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Most of the time, dreams are just a thing that happened, and you shouldn't really look into them too deeply. Sometimes I will freely admit there are times where something it has been on your mind so much that it will actually
Don't you
affect
think
those.
it's your subconscious sorting through things, though?
Right. No.
Yeah,
But
I
like
do.
on a conscious level, it doesn't mean anything. Like it's
No,
good.
no,
It's
no,
good for your brain because it
Yeah.
helps you. It helps your memory. It helps, et cetera, et cetera. But like, it's not something that you need to like pour over and be like, oh, what does this mean? It doesn't
Give it
mean
to the
anything,
professor.
usually.
Let's.
Am I the professor?
Yeah.
I like that nickname. Anyway, dreams, at least as far as we understand them, because we really do not understand them, is your brain just kind of doing stuff while you're asleep, and then you wake up, and it's your interpretation of what happened. So, whatever happens while you're dreaming is technically not really a thing. It's just your brain firing synapses, going over like memory, trying to solidify stuff that you know. How you interpret that right as you're waking up is really where it's all about. You can analyze that. So, what's in your dream really pretty much means nothing. How you feel about the things in your dream and what they can possibly stand for is the whole base of Freudian
So
psychology.
you mean
Wow.
Johnny Depp
Doesn't-
really doesn't love me?
Oh, no. He
Doesn't
does.
that go into
He
like
loves us all.
whether or
I mean,
not
don't be silly. Of course he does.
Doesn't that go into like whether or not reality is a thing? Like it's just your brain
Matrix,
interpreting
all this
everything.
Oh
Inception
yeah,
stuff.
not everything can be fake. Everything.
Ryan, close it out.
Yeah, I'll close this out with a great Jake story. It's a couple seconds. When Jake was a kid, Amy overheard him yelling from his room in his sleep, "No more pumpkins!" And tomorrow night, Jake is coming to my house to carve some pumpkins. So I'll see if he freaks out.
Go ahead, Jake.
My favorite part of that story is I don't know whether or not I'm sad that there's not pumpkins left or scared because there's so
Too
many
many.
pumpkins.
Only you can interpret it. Thank you. This has been the best show ever. We had no grown-ups, but we did a really good job. I hope all of our parents are really proud of us. And we miss all of our grown-ups. Please come back next week. And we will see you next week on Our Place Out Loud. Bye.
Wider. You wondering, hoping, reaching, or wishing I could find my way. Then I found our place where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. I may look a little hazy and I may feel a little crazy. I'm sifting through confusion and I'm searching for solutions, and I know I'm answer bound, 'cause I found our place where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. Hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters. You'll learn what really matters. And our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. Hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters. You'll learn what really matters. And our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. Hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters.